Today I will tell you another heartbreaking story. On the 2nd of August 2015, a Sunday, 39-year-old Jason Corbett was peacefully asleep at his home in Wallburg, Davidson County, North Carolina, United States. His household included his wife Molly Martens, their 2 children, 10-year-old Jack and 8-year-old Sarah, and Molly's parents Tom and Sharon Martens. Originally from Limerick, Ireland, Jason had enlisted the help of Molly Martens as an au pair following the tragic death of his first wife, Margaret, who succumbed to an asthma attack. At the time, Molly was 24 years old. Jason, needing assistance in caring for his young children, 3 and 1 2-years-old Jack and 1 and 1 2-years-old Sarah, brought Molly from Knoxville, Tennessee, United States, to Ireland. Over time, a romantic relationship blossomed between Jason and Molly. In 2011, the family, including Jack and Sarah, relocated to Davidson County, North Carolina, as part of Jason's job as the plant manager for an international packaging company. The same year, Jason and Molly tied the knot. The Corbetts appeared to be leading a fulfilling life in North Carolina. Jason dedicated his efforts to his role at the packaging plant, while Molly took on the responsibilities of caring for the children and also found joy in coaching a children's swimming team. In the early hours of that morning, the 2nd of August, a 911 call was made at 3 a.m. Tom, Molly's father, made the call. He told the operator, "My daughter's husband, my son-in-law, got in a fight with my daughter. I intervened, and he's in bad shape. We need help. He's bleeding all over, and I may have killed him." The screaming and noise were heard by Tom. He entered their bedroom with a baseball bat in his hand. Tom, 65, confirmed what his daughter said while sitting in another interview room. He told his wife to stay in the room when he woke up to screams upstairs and decided to find out what was going on. He heard Jason threatening to kill his daughter, so Tom brought along a weapon for protection, a metal bat. Tom entered the bedroom just as Jason was strangling Molly. Tom turned to Jason and asked him to let his daughter go and calm down. He refused to let Molly go, threatening to kill her. Jason turned his back toward the bathroom and began dragging Molly behind him. She resisted, but she was weaker. Tom realized his daughter could not be left alone with the aggressor and hit Jason in the head several times with the bat. However, Jason was able to knock Tom to the floor and took the bat away. Molly, at this point afraid that Jason might kill Tom, grabbed a decorative garden stone from the bedside table and hit Jason over the head with it. Tom managed to get to his feet due to this pause and grabbed the bat and continued to hit Jason in the head. He stopped when he realized that he was already dead. Tom admitted that he didn't like his son-in-law and his family, previously advising Molly to get a lawyer and file for divorce. Police took photos of Molly and Tom for the report. What's strange is that there were no signs of a struggle, no abrasions or bruises on them. So what really happened at the Corbett house? But first, let me tell you everything in more detail. Molly Martens spent most of her life in the city of Knoxville, Tennessee. She was the only daughter in a family of 4 children. Her father, Tom, gave 30 years of his life to the FBI, and her mother was a doctor of mathematics. In his spare time, Tom coached soccer for the local children's team, and Molly practiced singing and dancing with friends. She loved to read and as a teenager often appeared in her mother's book club, where she shared her opinions on what she had read. Molly got pregnant from Keith. However, she suffered an early miscarriage. In September 2007, the following February, there was no improvement in her condition, and Molly's parents paid for her stay in the psychiatric unit at Emory Hospital in Atlanta. Here she was to be helped to stabilize her condition and prescribed the correct course of medication. 4 days later, she returned to Keith, and they tried to continue living together. By the end of February, there was a rift in the couple's relationship, and Molly simply told Keith one night that she wanted to go somewhere in Europe and work there as a live-in nanny. He didn't think she should go away, much less work with children, since she couldn't even go grocery shopping on her own. Soon, Molly left for Ireland, and Keith never saw her again. Molly says that this babysitting job came at a very important time for her. She was suffering from feelings of inadequacy after leaving university and didn't know who she was or who she wanted to be. She was fortunate to meet Jason, who helped her come to her senses and realize her importance in caring for his children. A few months later, Jack and Sarah started calling her mom. Living in Ireland, Molly missed her native land, so after her engagement, she proposed to Jason to marry in America and live there, to which he agreed. Tracy, Jason's sister with whom they were always very close, says that the Molly they knew in Ireland and the same in the States are two different people. When relatives from Ireland came to Tennessee for the ceremony, they noticed Molly's strange behavior. She tried to control everything, was often angry, and was not like those happy brides anticipating marriage. Sometimes she stayed in bed and would not talk to anyone. Jason's family began to question whether he should become part of this American family, and his best friend saw the unhappy groom in front of him. He even told him to just leave, to get on a plane and return to his home country. But Jason replied that he couldn't do that. He had already made a commitment. 4 years later, Molly was very close to Jason's children and even considered them her own. But her relationship with her husband was strained. Tracy says that recently, back in 2014, Jason had been planning to move back home. He wasn't happy here and had started gaining weight. Molly was acting strangely, and he didn't like some of the things going on at home. He missed Ireland and said it would be hard for him to get out. When Molly found out, his children called her mom, but he wouldn't let her become their legal guardian. Jason didn't want to use his wife's citizenship to make a visa for himself. That way, she would have no legal grounds to claim custody of the children if they later divorced. She later confessed to several of her friends about the abuse by her husband. Neighbors began to keep a closer eye on Jason. There was no visible corroboration of Molly's words. According to numerous testimonies, there were no abrasions, bruises, or other injuries, and she did not appear to be a victim of abusive behavior. Not withdrawn or haggard. On the contrary, she didn't seem afraid of him. Jason, on the other hand, didn't fit the image of a tyrant. He was friendly, outgoing, generous. The Corbett's closest neighbor reported that Molly had said things that didn't fit the big picture he knew and were most likely false. She herself admitted that she may have lied to others to make herself look good and not be ashamed of her words or actions. On August 2nd, still dressed in her pajamas after the bedroom fight, Molly answered detectives' questions and reported that Jason had abused her. She'd gone to the hospital several times, but never admitted how she got the injury. Her husband was verbally and emotionally abusive, according to her. He sometimes sincerely apologized to her. It seemed like things were supposed to get better in their relationship, but the abuse continued, and each time, the situation only got worse. Despite this, her love for Sarah and Jack kept her from leaving him. Molly added that she never told about her husband's abuse because the children were not her own and were not U.S. citizens. Jason could have taken them away from her. In January 2016, Tom and Molly were charged with
Irish
second-degree
businessman,
murder.
but it was later
Tracy believes
overturned.
that Molly learned of
WFMY News
Jason's
2's Daniel
plans to
Cruz was in the
return to
courtroom today
Ireland
as
with the
both
children,
sides
but
made
without
their
her.
case.
Then a plan was devised to get rid of him. Molly had long wanted only her children, not her husband. There was no disclosure of abusive behavior on Jason's part at the trial. In general, the issue of domestic violence was minimally discussed during the trial. Tom, in his testimony, claimed that Jason had a great deal of control over Molly. He noticed bruises on her body, but could not understand where they came from, although he admitted that he had never seen physical aggression on Jason's part, except on that August night. In November 2023, a new trial took place where the judge ordered Molly Martens and her father, Thomas, to prison for a minimum of 7 months after an emotional final day of sentencing hearings. The pair were led out of a North Carolina court in handcuffs on Wednesday, receiving sentences ranging from 7 to 30 months for the voluntary manslaughter of Jason Corbett. This is in addition to the 3.5 years Molly and Thomas have already served after previously being convicted of murder. What do you think about this story? Share your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching and for being with me. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.